Hey there, welcome to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. That's a big website that you have to go to. Everyone goes there.
Yeah,
they check it out, they see the programs, they see everything that's available, and they're completely amazed. Or even better yet, call 651-775-9194, 651-775-9194. Speak with the lovely and talented Sheila. She'd be happy to steer you in the right direction and give you, point you where you need to go to get the help that you're looking for. All right, so we're talking about Our Healthy Homes. What is Our Healthy Homes? Of course, we talk about the real estate, the ecosystem, the body, and the mind. And today we're talking about, what are we talking about? Body and mind, I guess, maybe a little bit. For sure, body.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure, body, because with a strong body, you can have a strong mind. And that leads to that. We're in the studio today with Rob Smith, author of The Second Opinion, which is a book, a step-by-step holistic guide to look and feel better. Sheila, you should read the book. And
Ooh.
well, just because I know you're interested.
Oh, got it.
Right, so.
Got it. Okay. Nice save. Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about your Muffin Top Countdown?
Muffin Top. Okay, so are you over 40? Are you just lost when you go to the closet and there's absolutely nothing to wear and you're just disgusted and tired and just want the help that you need to get rid of that muffin top? So I'm 59. I feel better than I did in my 30s. I went through the Muffin Top Challenge. I myself did it, and through that, I have a passion to help people over 40 get rid of it, because as we age, it doesn't mean that we just automatically accept and have these things happen to us. They happen to us over time, and we might get into that today with the toxic overload and the chemicals and the fat storage, and it's just really hard to lose it when you have such an overloaded body of toxins. So we need to do more than just food and working out, for sure. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and people ask me all the time, Keith, you married an older woman, but she doesn't look that bad.
You are ripe today.
I am good today. I had my energy little shot, nitro.
Oh, you had your nitro today.
I'm good.
That's it.
All right, Rob. Holistic exercise therapist. Is that title?
Corrective holistic exercise kinesiotherapist.
Corrective holistic.
Yeah.
So tell us about your practice and what it is you do. I'm curious, first of all, because you were more like a Fitness 45 kind of a guy before, right? Am I right at that?
Yeah, my background is in exercise science, and then I went on to get a master's in human movement rehabilitation science, just because I was running into so many people that would come into the gym that were in pain. And that's one of the things when people are working out today, either they're exercising incorrectly, they're doing exercises that are not appropriate for that individual. And I was frustrated seeing all those people that were really struggling, and that's when I got more into the corrective exercise, then went on to get my master's. But the reality is most people, when they go into the gym or they're working out, unfortunately, they know enough to be dangerous. At best, they're grossly inefficient, and at worst, they're doing things that are potentially injurious. And so most people don't have a plan. And even today, I think really what drives the industry and what drives people is aesthetics. Mm-hmm. And what we have to do is we have to get away from the focal point being aesthetics and go to functionality. A byproduct of optimizing functionality will be better aesthetics, but you can look really good and feel like crap.
Yes.
Right? So
tell me how the change that because you went through a metamorphosis, if you will, or a growth, and a change in your focus and direction. Mm-hmm. Our population is also changing. I mean, we're becoming older as a whole. How does your approach then treat all population groups in terms of age?
Well, obviously, there's nothing we can do to change our chronological age. That's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's our physiological response. And what I tell people is you have to change your strategies, because what worked for you in your 20s or 30s does not work for 40s or 50s or beyond. And so it's quit blaming your genetics, quit playing the age card, and start evaluating what is my strategy, because that's really ultimately what needs to change. And so, yes, I've evolved because my body started to change. I couldn't do the things I used to the way I used to do them. I couldn't eat the way I used to. I have to be a lot more meticulous, and I have to focus a little bit more on first principles. I'm a first principles guy.
Tell us what that means.
Well, I'm looking for the most basic, fundamental, foundational approach to anything.
Okay.
So when it comes to exercise, there are certain principles. So methods are many, principles are few.
Okay.
Right? And so there's lots of catchy names. What's the new, latest, greatest, sexy exercise routine out there? What's in vogue? But the one thing that will never, ever it will always last the test of time, and that's you must squat, you must bend, you must push, you must pull, you must twist, you must lunge, and you must gait. So it's walking or running. So if you focus on those fundamental principles of exercise, I could take anyone that was 50, 60, or 70 and focus only on those exercises, get them in the best shape of their life, move at a very high level, pain-free, and that's ideally what we want to do. Forget the aesthetics. The aesthetics will come. Improve functionality by going back to the basics. Most people, in fact, about 90% of the population is breathing at about 50% efficiency.
Oh, yes.
Right? So it starts with breathing. Nothing, and I mean nothing, can change your physiology more than learning how to breathe correctly.
Tell us more about breathing.
He just never believes me on some of these things.
Right, and that's why everyone says, well, breathing, I've been doing it for 30, 40,
Right.
50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've probably been doing it incorrectly. So from a biomechanical standpoint, most people, when they're breathing vertically. Well, there's a couple things wrong with that. The primary respiratory muscle is our diaphragm, so we want to originate our breath through our diaphragm.
I've heard that before, and I don't know how to do it.
Well,
It does take a little practice. It really does, because you have to really think about it.
okay, so let me give you a great example of this. Just let's fold our arms. Fold your arms
Fold
like
your
how
arms.
you would normally fold them.
Folding.
Okay.
Okay, now fold them the other way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, feels
Okay.
weird.
Feels weird.
That's what's called a motor angle pattern, right? And so that's your go-to,
I must
Yep.
do it both.
right? So if I'm used to breathing up here at 50% efficiency, then what happens is, from a neurological standpoint, I lock that in, and that becomes my go-to.
Okay.
So then I forget, right? I forget how to breathe through the diaphragm. And so consequently, I can have lymphatics stagnation. I can have low back pain, hip pain, neck pain, jaw pain, shoulder pain. So I always start with, how is a person breathing? Because if you don't have that, that is the most fundamental thing in the human body, right? We're breathing approximately 20 to 25,000 times every single day. Okay?
It's kind of like as simple as what we talk about, when it comes to water, right?
Yes.
People drink tap water and it's terrible for you, and it's such a simple thing, right? That people just, it's hard to
because
believe.
it's so simple. Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to believe
Yeah.
that, okay, I'm going to breathe and that's going to change
Walk us
something.
through a simple breathing exercise. Do you have
Yeah.
them?
Well, so the first thing that I would do is, let's get command
Okay.
of your diaphragm. So we put a hand here on your diaphragm, one on your chest. You want to keep this top one on the chest quiet,
Do I put it on my chest or Sheila's chest?
either or, in the
Okay.
privacy of your home,
Okay.
whatever you feel comfortable
But it doesn't
with.
matter which one's on top and
Doesn't
which
matter.
one's- Okay.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
So what you want to think about is, and you don't want to force this. I find a lot of people will try and force things, and then what we have to do is just let it come. So what you're doing is just letting that naturally expand.
Blow up that belly.
But ideally, because it's a three-dimensional cylinder, I want to have my hands here
Oh.
and laterally expand. Why? Because I'm filling the whole three-dimensional cylinder.
I can't feel mine because my muffin top.
Well, no. What happens is this musculature around becomes very tight and restricted, that fascia.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah, the
it gets
fascia.
locked down, and then you lack the ability to mobilize that area. So then what happens is the body will always take the path of least resistance. So then you start going up, right? And even if people can facilitate their diaphragm, so they inhale here, that's not really what we want to accomplish, because when we breathe all the way through here, the diaphragm is not just the primary respiratory muscle, it's a secondary spinal stabilizer.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you're exercising and you're down doing a plank and you're breathing vertically. then you're lacking the segmental stabilization that the diaphragm offers. Plus, you create all the tension in the neck, jaw, and shoulders.
Sure.
And people are doing a plank, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, when is this ever going to be done?"
Right.
Instead of owning it and just
Don't
being
they, most
completely.
people just hold their breath.
That's exactly right. They do. And that can create blood pressure issues.
Right.
It can create lightheadedness. So, yeah.
Okay, this is Our Healthy Homes. You have to
Breathing.
go out and pay some bills. OurHealthyHomes.com. We'll be right back after. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes. OurHealthyHomes.com. 651-775-9194. We're here in the studio with Rob Smith, who is a holistic regenerative exercise therapist. Did I say that right?
No, but it sounded pretty good.
Did it sound good?
Maybe I'll change the
Okay.
the title.
All right.
How many of you are them? Wait, did that come out right?
Yeah.
How many people?
How many
like
people
you?
like you? He's a one-off.
I don't know, but it's actually kind of a rare breed. Today, I think more than anything, there's so much isolation and compartmentalization with health.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing some healthy things, if you're not taking a systems-based approach, then you're probably more than likely not going to get true resolution to any kind of dysfunction that you're
Okay.
experiencing.
Can you help me with this?
I feel like he's watching me breathing now.
Because I'm self-conscious about my breathing right now.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm
Good.
I'm like hyperventilating here because I'm breathing with my top and I know
He's
I could
watching
be
me.
with the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
How much I like systems and I like routine.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
But how much time and organization? I've been a Lifetime. We are founding members of Lifetime, and I haven't been to that club in 15 years because it's the going to.
Yeah.
And I like the going to,
I'm
and
just
he
not going to
doesn't.
do it. So my routine: I get up in the morning, I feed the dogs, I make 3 shots of espresso, and I read the Bible. I do 100 push-ups, and I'm off to. That's my day. Then I'm off to the races. I don't know how to do anything more than that, or to structure it in. So my concern always when I hear people saying you've got to do this, you got to do this, you got to look at this, you got to do this, it's like, it's
Overwhelming.
too much. It's not so much overwhelming, but it's like it's too much stuff compared to what my rest of my day looks like.
Yeah.
It's just like adding another thing on, and it's like I'm done. I don't know. I just know that, or I feel like I could be wrong. Probably am. I am in most things, but that I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to sustain it. And to me, it's more important to do things consistently and sustain it
Sure.
than it is to I'm going to do this, and then in the 2 weeks later you fall off like it's New Year's Eve. So tell me about the time commitment that you're talking about. If a guy like me who's in his mid-50s came into okay, so I'm 70. So I come in, I say, look, I want to be 110. So how are you going to help me become 110 years old or live to be 110 years old?
Well, I think the first thing is identifying truly what a person's goals are and then reverse engineer from there.
All right.
A lot of times people, don't even know what they want. And then they don't know how to put together a plan because they don't know what they want. So what's important to you? Is it being pain-free? Is it more energy? Is it longevity? For me, I don't want to live to be 100 if I hurt and I have brain fog and, someone has to dress me and feed me.
Right, exactly.
I'm looking for health expectancy rather than longevity, right? And so I think it's important, to determine, am I hurting? Okay, well, maybe I need to do more flexibility and more mobility, okay? Maybe I'm getting older and I'm losing muscle mass. There's something called sarcopenia, which is super important. As you age, you're starting to lose muscle mass. One of the number one things as you age is the potential of falling. And statistically, if you fall, you have a very high probability of not making it. So strength training is really important. But to give you a short answer, if you are efficient, you can do mobility, flexibility, strength, all in one routine. And generally, that's what I do.
And you can do it at home.
I exercise at home. I only
Okay.
work out at home. I'm a big body weight guy. I love resistance bands. So I've probably I have about 15 pounds less muscle than I used to carry. And some people...
Is that by choice?
By choice. I got tired of not being able to find pants for my thighs because I had really big thighs. But for me, it was more about getting away so much from the aesthetics and really, really focusing on functionality. I want to be able to move pain-free at a high level. And if that means not carrying so much muscle, I'm okay with that. I still I'm still driven,
You want to look good in a suit.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of that ego where I still want to look my very best. But if I'm really hurting, it doesn't matter how good you look. And so therefore it's all about really, again, getting back to the functionality of how
So when
I'm
you're
moving.
coaching people or helping people, then do you have a place that they come to, or do you do it in their home, or just kind of walk us through that? Okay, I called you up and said, Rob, you got to help me. I'm 70 years old. I'm handsome, but but I'm a little porky, a little chunky, and I want longevity health wise. I want to feel great and move. I got 16 grandkids, so what can I do to maintain my stuff?
Yeah, well, at our facility, we don't do fitness per se. We're more about restoring the function back to the body. So it's really holistic physical therapy is what we're looking to do is really restore. Like if you can't squat without pain, why can't you squat without pain? If I can't lunge why do I have back pain?
What if I have no pain? So does that mean I don't need to call you or what?
Well, then we would just determine, like, in terms of getting back to your health goal. Do you need more energy? Do you want to, minimize the caffeine consumption that you're...
Don't want to do any of that. I want to. If I could stay like this for the next 40 years, it'd be super duper.
Well, you let me know how that works for you in 40 years.
I know.
Chances are it's not going to be very, very good.
Okay.
No, but the reality is there's universal principles that we just can't refute. I mean,
so when you're
cause and
onboarding,
effect.
kind of walk me through that first consultation. Like the first conversation on the thing, what's that look like?
Well, generally, people come to us because they're in pain.
Okay.
They're either experiencing physical pain, and what they realize is when we take a look at physical pain, it's not just there's the difference between Newtonian physics and quantum physics, and one is just dealing with the physical body, and then one is dealing with the energy body. And so when we take a look at what caused, let's just say low back pain.
Okay.
If someone comes in for low back pain, I'm not going to just look at the muscles, right? That's a big part of what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at how someone's breathing. I'm going to assess these postural deficiencies. There's something called length tension relationships, meaning certain muscles under stress become weakened, other muscles under stress become too tight. So we're looking to develop that homeostasis or balance. Everything is predicated on homeostasis in the body. So if we want to keep health really simple, it's all about balance and it's about flow. In conventional medicine, they talk about a blockage of blood flow, nerve flow, lymph flow. Eastern philosophies, you might hear things like chi, life force, and prana. In the end, it's all energy at the quantum level.
Okay.
Right? And so if someone has low back pain, it could be from the foods they eat. I had a 77-year-old lady. She came in. We did the assessment. She had certain muscles that have become too weak, other muscles that have become too tight. Her primary driver for her low back pain was an intolerance to dairy.
Really?
Grew up on a dairy farm, loved her milk, quit drinking dairy. Literally within 1 week, she had almost no pain in her back. Right? We still had to correct the dysfunction, but in terms of what was driving the pain.
So how do you determine that that's what it was?
We do applied kinesiology.
Okay.
So we do muscle testing to identify.
Applied kinesiology. Is that the muscle testing?
That's the muscle testing.
Okay. So she's been talking about muscle testing forever.
For years. And
I
he
think
thinks
it's hocus pocus.
Foreign,
I just don't get it because I'm really good at lying to myself. So when I muscle test a apple fritter, I'm leaning into it. I'm leaning.
Maybe
into
that's
the
your
apple
no.
fritter. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's your no. It's not always. It's forward is not always a yes.
How do you? I just don't understand how you get past the self will of towards like a sugar addiction or some addiction like that, because that's what it is.
Yeah, there's no question. And that's where when we get into quantum physics and understand everything is energy. I don't know if you're familiar
I believe that
Nikola
100%.
Tesla.
I love quantum physics.
Are you familiar with Nikola Tesla?
Yeah.
Probably one of the greatest minds that ever walked the face of the earth. If you want to know the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Yep.
Okay? So everything has a specific vibrational frequency. This table is vibrating at an atomic level, right? So you know this. Our organs, our glands, our ligaments, and tendons all have specific frequencies in which they vibrate at. So when you've been injured, the cellular voltage drops. And when the cellular voltage drops, the cellular membrane, which is the gateway to the cell, collapses. Then you can't have an exchange between good nutrition entering the cell, waste product exiting the cell. So from an energetic standpoint, that vibrational frequency drops. Emotions carry frequencies. Shame, let's say shame is, we look at the energetic value at 20 hertz, all the way up to enlightenment, 700. Love, joy, happiness. Anger, frustration.
Can you measure that in the body?
Yes, it's been measured. It's been demonstrated. All this is scientifically validated.
I agree with you. I didn't know that you could actually measure. So when we come back, I want to talk more about this because this is so fascinating to me.
Rose oil also has the highest.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is Our Healthy Homes, OurHealthyHomes.com, the home to the Muffin Top Meltdown. Sheila, tell us about that.
It is a program that I have put together to help you go through and reduce the muffin top. You do not have to deal with it. It does not have to be there. You do need to be driven, willing, and wanting to do some changes, and changes require cleanses and other some food restrictions and things like that. But I always tell people, if I could do it, anybody could do it. Yep. Because if you go back to, all my high school friends and they would not believe that, I quit smoking, I quit drinking, quit diet pop, like I've made the changes, but I learned the hard way, and I've had to make the changes if I've wanted to continue to have a healthy and vibrant life. And you can too. But it takes you, and it takes some guidance. And I feel like there's all this information on the internet, and you can, be bought and sold all these different supplements and vitamins, and you don't even know what's the right order, what to do, how you're going to feel, what you need, to help you through some of the herxing or the healing crisis. And I just want to be that person, that cheerleader, which I used to be, that cheerleader to be there for you. And I feel like people need it personally. Like they just can't go through a program online, a webinar, something like that, because they don't get a chance to really talk to you, right? And
the good news about the Muffin Top Meltdown, results are guaranteed if you just do it. I tell Sheila all the time, just do what I say. Just do what I say, and it'll work. Just do what Sheila says, and it'll work. I plan on taking her advice sometime in the future.
Maybe, yep.
Okay, so we're with Rob Smith, the author of The Second Opinion, Step-by-Step Holistic Guide to Look and Feel Better. And we went out to break last time. We just started to get into this quantum physics thing, which I could go down a rabbit hole on this deal because I just find it so fascinating. And it's real. So for the people who are just tuning in, maybe coming back, from the bagel shop, give us.
Ooh, that was a high glycemic food too.
Give us a little, background of what quantum physics is and how does it tie into the energy flow of the human body, and how can we measure it and understand it and come in line with it, because there isn't no manipulating it.
No, and I think a lot of times people will right away when you start talking energy, it just seems too out there and
you get a weird look. Yeah,
people can't wrap their heads around it. But
Lama.
What's that?
They think of the Dalai Lama.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Well, here's a line I often will use with people is you can either be married to the outcome or married to the process. So if you come in and you're in pain and you haven't been able to get resolution and you've met with 2, 3, 4 different practitioners, then you really need to start opening your mind. And I think another really good,
Ouch.
well, here's another good statement is be open to everything and attached to nothing, right? And if you can have that philosophy, and I think what has really hurt society is we can no longer have these open dialogues without people getting their feathers
Accusing
rustled.
or getting
That is a big part of it. And let's, say it like it is. So many people want the quick fix, right? And they just want to go give me this pill
Sure.
and let me be out of pain so I can continue doing what I'm doing. It doesn't work like that. Right?
The body's far too complex for that, unfortunately, if you look at the variables. So if we take a circle and we just write symptom, whatever symptom a person is experiencing.
Isms, we call that.
Ism, right? So we've got foods, we have immune challenges, so we have bacteria, viral, parasitic, fungal, molds. We've got chemicals, we have electrochemicals, we have heavy metals, we have scars, and then we have emotional stress. Now, the one thing that is so hidden in people's healing potential is dealing with the emotional baggage that we all have. 40% of all pain patterns today, 40% of all pain patterns today are psychosomatically driven, meaning they have absolutely no physical component to the pain. Pain starts in the brain. So, do you mind if I share a story?
Yes, please.
I have a client who actually came in, had met with a podiatrist for foot pain. The podiatrist wanted to do foot surgery. It was the mid part of her foot. Okay, tremendous amount of pain. No, I don't want to do surgery. So she met with physical therapy A, right? Did physical therapy A, didn't work, went to physical therapy B, didn't work, same thing. So when she came in, I asked her, okay, what were you doing in therapy? And sometimes I'll listen to what they were doing in therapy. I'm like, there's no way that would ever get you better. She was doing good things from a physical standpoint.
Okay.
So when I tested her, she came up 100%. This was emotional. Okay. Podiatrist wanted to do surgery.
What kind of surgery was he going to do? That when I say surgery, I'm thinking they're going to cut it open and do something.
Who knows?
Who knows? Okay.
I wasn't there. I
Okay.
didn't do the assessment. So anyway, so they wanted to do surgery. Went through, worked with the two physical therapists, did good things from a physical standpoint. So she came in on a Tuesday, and I had released all these trapped energies, these trapped emotions that, again, we have all this baggage from birth to where we are now.
How do you do that?
I was giving my next question.
How do you release trapped?
So we use biomagnetic therapy.
Okay.
We run a magnet down the governing meridian. And remember, trapped emotions are just energy. Okay. So we are releasing that from the energetic field.
Much
Opening the floodgates.
like taking a magnet to a hard drive, and you can erase everything that's on that drive.
When you understand everything is energy, that's when you can wrap your head around it.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So we released all these trapped energies on Tuesday. Our next appointment was on Thursday. And, sometimes you'll release these trapped energies and it's not like, okay, it's a miracle.
Yeah, they get sucked back in.
There might be some residual inflammation, right? So she comes back on Thursday and she goes, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. I have no pain. I have no pain. I wanted to call you so bad yesterday because I had no pain, right? So this is a situation where you can have the best, and you like this word, Sheila, modalities in the world, right? And it doesn't matter if it's an emotional component, right? So again, we have things like smartwatches, Apple Watches, that create neurological disruption, and that creates an inability of the body to heal, because the body works best on something called the MEN cycle, minimal electrical neuromuscular stimulation. So that energy doesn't jive with ours, right? And so it's the same thing with low vibrational frequencies of a negative emotion, right? Shame, anger, frustration, overwhelm, all these things. Think of a trapped energy like a ball of energy the size of a grapefruit. That literally distorts the energy patterns within the body. Okay, so can I give you another real quick story?
Yeah, I've got one.
This is really cool. This was just this week. So my wife was seeing one of our clients before me, and she had went through all of her assessments and determined that, and this gal came in really severe low back pain. She could barely walk in. She was in so much pain. Now,
One side or the other, it didn't matter.
It was in the center of her back.
Okay.
And here's what's really interesting. Before she came, an hour before, she had went to an acupuncturist, and they put the needles right in the spot of pain. She was still in a lot of pain. And a very pro chiropractic massage therapy.
Yep.
I love it all, right? But there's a time and place for everything. Anyway, so Paula's like, when I went into the office, she's like, her heart is coming up as the primary driver behind the low back pain.
What grief did we just have?
Okay, so what we're looking at in a situation like that sometimes is a visceral somatoreflex. So visceral internal organs or glands, and then we can have a neurological reflex to somato, which is skin, muscle, ligaments, right? So we can have a visceral somatoreflex. So then when she was lying on the table, her left chest was raised. It looked like it was 6 inches higher. So then while Paula had her on the table, I'm like, test her to see if her pec minor muscle is contributing to that. That would be a somato reflex. Yes, it is. Then underneath the armpits, there's a muscle called the intercostals that helps with rib cage expansion. I said, see if that is also contributing. Okay, so I brought her in my office. I massaged these chest muscles, massage under here.
Under the arm.
Under the
The
arm.
listeners.
And what we did is, I think she had 2 emotions that I released. Didn't touch her back at all. She left the office. She had 0 pain.
Now, did she even know what the emotions were?
She didn't know what they were. Many times we don't know. Like on a conscious level, like we might feel overwhelmed or we might feel angry, but there might be some underlying additional emotions.
Or we might not feel those things.
We suppress them.
Yes.
Right? Because we're good at it.
Right.
All right, we're going to talk more about this when we come back from break. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com.
Listen to me.
651-775-9194. The lovely and talented Sheila. So when I sit in a chair for any length of time, I get up, I stiffen and it hurts.
Yeah.
Until I like wiggle around a little bit.
I'm not the problem emotionally.
That's what I was going to say. I must have some kind of emotional thing going on with the lovely and talented. We'll be right back after the... Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We've got a short segment this time, so I want to get right to it. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. When we went out to break, we were talking about emotional lock, for the lack of a better word. So the emotions and how they impact your health. And you were saying that like 40% of all muscle aches or aches and pains, any pain is somehow related to an emotion. Sheila's got a little story she needs to tell.
So, of course, you know, when you're new to this and you think that it's weird, it's odd, how can that possibly be? I have had back pain for a big part of my life.
Right.
And then when I actually did, like really physically hurt my back,
Yeah.
tore the tissue in a disc, and had the x-ray, and he's like, what are you doing? It's fine. Like, you've been going to the chiropractor all your life. And it's just like, well, that's because it hurt, And through that, then realized that it was the emotions from a couple of female relationships that I had in my family with alcoholics and things like that.
Absolutely.
So literally worked through it, and I have like 0 back pain.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a powerful story. And the one thing you can't refute, I don't care what anyone says, is physiological validation. I don't care what you're doing, right? And whether you say, oh, it's a placebo effect, I don't care.
Super.
Right, exactly.
If that worked for you, great.
Yes.
And so, I never want to be one of those people who's on a soapbox saying, you must do this, you must do that, because everyone is so uniquely different. And that's the big thing, is the variables are different. So if you come in for low back pain or shoulder or knees, we have to treat you completely different, because this person, it might be all physical. I had a gal who came in the other day, tested her, it was all physical. Now, that doesn't mean you won't uncover another trapped energy down the road, But at that particular juncture, it was all physical. But can I give you another story?
Yeah.
That was really great. This is a gal that has done a ton of things. She's had 2 neck surgeries. She's had a back surgery. She's had a couple of abdominal surgery. Anyway, so I started doing, and I was doing Graston therapy, high frequency massage. I was doing frequency specific microcurrent, a lot of physical things.
Ooh, microcurrent.
Yeah, really great
I love
stuff.
microcurrent.
Microcurrent's awesome. And
every
anyway,
machine.
so she was referred to me by a chiropractor. And anyway, so she had came in. She was not holding her adjustments. And I said, we are not going to go any further in your care unless we address all these emotional components, right? So I went from, there's 7 cervical vertebrae, so I went to each vertebra and we identified how many trapped energies in each of these vertebrae.
And how do you do that?
Yeah.
What's the...
Apply
got it.
I know,
Back to
but,
that.
I mean, just like so do you have a device or something, or what measures?
It's all energy. So it's setting the intention, placing your hand on the individual, and then
He's asking the question. He's
basically.
So can you feel the energy, or I mean, I'm just like, how do you measure it? I'm looking for a gauge, energy gauge.
Well, there's certain things that are not quantifiable.
Okay.
So if we take a look at the human energy field, right, we can't see it, we can't taste it, we can't smell it, but we know it exists, right? So if you take a look at the difference between our conscious and our subconscious, 99% of what drives us on a regular basis is our subconscious, right? So on a conscious level, you know, I might not feel super overwhelmed. I might not look overwhelmed. I might be the duck on the surface that's the cool customer, but inside I have all this internal turmoil. And the body really tells the score. The body never lies, right? And so anyway,
So
does
back
that make
to
sense?
her. Yep.
So she came in and she was really deflated. This was after seeing her chiropractor, and she said, it's not what he said, it's how he said it. Basically, like, you're screwed. This C5 and C6, she's got degenerative changes. She was having all this pain. She was not holding her adjustments. I said, we're not moving any further until we continue to release these trapped energies. As we released the trapped energies, she couldn't even go 3 or 4 days without holding an adjustment. She'd have to go, and she was out of alignment. And then she started going a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, where she was holding her adjustments, no pain. Again, did no physical therapy with her on the neck. Used no modalities. I didn't do any manual stuff. It was all releasing trapped energies. She had reticular pain down this index finger. She had trapped energies in this specific finger. As we released those, pain went away. And this is a gal who's gone through a lot of. She's worked with probably no less than 7 or 8 different practitioners over the years. So.
Is there a lot? Do you get people with like weight problems? Right. So I've got to believe that there's that.
Yes,
that
you're right.
The energy plays in that.
No question.
Holding the weight, right?
Usually it's things like worthlessness.
Okay.
Are not good enough, and that we all have it. We've got shame. We've got worthlessness.
No judgment right here,
I do regular work on myself, and I just can't begin to tell you. It's like there's so much emotional baggage, so much emotional trauma that we've had throughout the years. Now,
does that take a long time to get rid of? I mean, it just seems to me like if you spent a lifetime accumulating emotional baggage,
yes,
that it isn't a quick fix.
No, it's not. And the reality is the work is never done.
Okay.
Like, we're never done.
Right, because it changes
variables,
every day.
right?
I get pulled over, and those lights, like put me into fight or flight. And
Okay.
I mean, it's anything. You come home and you hear bad news that so and so died. I mean, like whatever it is, it's constant, right? It's the news. Like, stop watching the news. Like, it's all of that stuff. And then it's something that happens that might or might not trigger something in you from
way
a long
back
time
when.
ago.
Yeah, I have a 77-year-old lady came in, hip pain, and it was all trapped energies. And we were releasing stuff when she was in her early 20s. She was in a verbally abusive marriage, and a very emotionally toxic relationship, and she's 77.
Wow.
And we go through this period where from 25 to 32 that comes up all the time.
So are you like park counselor or something? I mean, do you feel like you're a counselor? I mean,
we always tell people, look, this isn't about counseling. It's about, and we do life coaching
Sure.
along with it and offer suggestions, but generally it's like we are offering this to you. This is another way you can look at things. But once the intensity of the emotion has been released, there's like this.
The balloon is popped.
Absolutely.
but
And so
people
you
will
have
come
the-
in and not even know what they're.
That's okay. That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
Is if I come in and I say nothing, and I just say, just
Okay.
do your
This is
your
that's a great question.
do
and
your
here's what people
kinesiology
here's what
and-
people
and
tell
tell
us
me.
all the time is, oh my gosh, I can't hide anything from you, can I?
See.
And you know what?
Can't hide
here's,
anything when you
but
drive a
here's
big
the
car
thing.
either.
They have to have they have to feel like they're in a safe space.
Oh yes, yes.
You know,
right,
all
right,
this can
right.
come out.
Yeah.
And I just tell people, look, it can be inside of you or you can release it. Right?
Right.
And
Your
so
choice.
once they know they're in a safe space, and guys are way worse than
Oh, I can
women.
imagine.
Oh,
Guys wanna
hallelujah!
stuff it,
say that. You better
suppress
say that
it.
again.
Yeah, guys are way worse than
Yep.
because they're like, okay, this is too foo-foo, this is too
Yeah,
woo-woo.
yeah.
Well, if that's your argument in the court of law, and then I bring my argument, you will lose.
That's right.
Right? So
Right.
unless you invest the time and energy in understanding quantum physics, then your opinion really doesn't matter to me. You keep it to yourself. But again, that's where it's, are you married to the process? Or are you married to the outcome? Because if you truly want to get better, you're going to do whatever it takes within reason to get better. And that means an all-encompassing integrated approach to health and wellness. And that includes mind, so mental, emotional, physical, spiritual.
TheBodyProjectStudio.com. Is that where they would go?
Yeah.
TheBodyProjectStudio.com. We'll put the link on the podcast.
Yeah, and if they go there on the homepage, if they want to download, I've got the first 6 chapters of my book.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, for
Yep.
a download, so you
They
get
can
an idea
download
about
that and see if the message resonates with them.
if it's worth buying the book.
Yep.
For them.
Well, and they don't even have to buy. I mean, at least they're like, okay, I really like what they're saying. There's lots of great testimonials in here, great success stories. I've done a lot of. I worked with 3 illustrators, a lot of pictures, a lot of analogies to take all the heavy science out of it, just make sense. And if it resonates, then you can call us for a no obligation consultation. Come in.
Is this something that they have to do in person, or if someone from Texas is listening right now on the internet, could they participate in
Yeah,
this?
I've got some great stories from doing remote testing
Okay.
all over the country. Really, really powerful.
Now that's a little harder to get your head wrapped around is the remote.
Are you married to the outcome, or are you married to the
no,
process?
I mean for a lot of people it is.
Energy
right?
knows no time or space.
Exactly.
We're all
Yes,
connected.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
But,
And
but that's a big
okay,
deal.
so here's let me just throw this at you.
Okay.
Let's say you're talking to a loved one and they're 2,000 miles away.
Yep.
They're across the world.
Right.
Okay. Can you feel their pain on the phone?
Yes.
Can you
Whatever,
feel
their happiness, whatever it is, yeah.
Can you feel that? Okay. Well, how do you explain that? Thank you. Right. That's as
This is our-
There you
simple
go.
as that is.
This might be a good inclusion in the Muffin Talk Meltdown.
There you
This
go.
is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. I'm Keith Hittner Sr., along with the lovely and talented Sheila. Give her a ring-a-ling-a-ling, and she'd be happy to steer you in the right direction. Thanks for tuning in. We'll
But
see you.
when he calls me sugar, I love that man with all my might. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon. Sugar after dinner, sugar in every room. He says I'm sweet as I can be. When he calls me that name, it does things to me. I tell him, honey, you can call me sugar.